In this video, I'm going to be unboxing the Alesis Nitro Mesh and give my honest review on whether or not I think it's the best beginner drum set on the market. Coming up. Hey everyone, my name is Nick, and today I'm unboxing the Alesis Nitro Mesh. Now this kit has been around for a little while, and it's been making a lot of waves with beginner drummers. It's an affordable option for people who want to get into playing drums without having to spend too much money. So stay tuned as I give you my thoughts throughout the video and whether or not I think it's really worth the money. At first glance, the Alesis Nitro looks like an impressive kit for the money. It's a bit on the cheaper side, so it's not going to have a ton of advanced features. For $150 more, Alesis offers the Surge Mesh, but there's not too many differences, so I really don't think it's worth to spend more money. The Surge includes a bigger pad, bigger snare drum, dual zone tom pads. It's probably not a big deal if you just want to use this kit for practice. I wouldn't worry about going to the next level up. The Nitro's going to be fine. The all-black design looks incredible. The build quality isn't terrible either. Since it's more affordable, you'd think it'd be made with poorer materials, but Alesis has done a pretty good job here. Alesis also has a special edition of the Nitro, but from what I've heard, the red color looks pretty terrible in person, so I would just stick with the all-black. Let's talk about some of the features. The Nitro is a 5-piece drum set complete with 4 drums, a kick pad, 3 cymbals, a rack, drum module, and pedals. The snare drum is dual zone, allowing you to get a different sound from both the pad and the outer rim. Fortunately though, the tom drums are single zone. It's not as big a deal anymore, but the Nitro does come with mesh heads. A few years ago, most kits came with noisy rubber pads, but we see most companies have adapted. Simply put, mesh heads are a type of playing surface for kits, both electronic and acoustic, that are made from strands of nylon woven together. The heads are designed to be extremely quiet and are surprisingly durable. Mesh drum heads are superior to rubber pads because they feel better to play on. Rubber pads are going to be much louder than mesh pads, but that doesn't mean mesh heads are completely silent. For example, Yamaha makes an electronic drum kit with what's called textured cellular silicone, TCS for short. These type of heads are far quieter than mesh drum heads. So if you happen to be in a living situation with paper-thin walls, you may need to go with a Yamaha kit that has the TCS pads. However, Yamaha's kits that feature all TCS pads can get a little pricey. So let's dive into the sound. The Alesis Nitro Mesh is a very entry-level kit. As a result, the sounds you get included are not the greatest. In fact, I think they sound pretty poor. But, as I've mentioned before, it is a great entry-level kit that serves a need for many beginning drummers or those who need a reliable drum kit to practice quietly with. The Nitro Mesh is also a very small drum set. The height of the kit alone can be a big problem if you're taller. The good news, however, is since it has a small footprint, you can easily store it away when you aren't playing. You'll have to get used to playing with a tighter, more compact setup. The drums feel a lot closer together. I picked this kit up at Guitar Center and I was able to put it in the back of my Honda Civic, so that should give you an idea of how big the box really is. It's not too bad. Let's dive right in and see what we get in the box. Okay, we have a lot of different boxes here. Why don't we start with the kick pad? Now, on the Nitro Mesh, the kick pad is a little bit smaller than what you get on the Surge, but in terms of if you should spend money on the Surge, I feel like the Nitro is going to be a better deal. The upgrades that you get with the Surge are not the greatest. So here we go, we've got Nitro kick pad. There you go, you can kind of see it on the overhead shot here. Not bad, it feels very nice and robust, like the metal feels nice. The pad itself is really good. This part is plastic, so this does feel a little bit cheaper, but you know what? Pretty solid overall. Let's put that aside. And let's move right on to the module. Being a cheaper kit, again, the module is not going to be very impressive to most drummers, but for beginners out there, it's going to be just fine. Here we go, we've got the Alesis Nitro drum module. Fairly standard, nothing too crazy about it. It's got a bunch of different buttons you can push. Next up, we got a snare pad. I believe, if I remember correctly, it's an 8-inch snare pad. That's one of the differences between the Nitro and the Surge, is you're gonna get a bigger snare pad, but for the most part, it's not gonna be that huge of a difference. All right, so there is the snare pad. Nothing really fancy here. It's very, very standard. But it feels good. The mesh feels really nice. I'm assuming that most of these pads are gonna be the same, other than the fact that the snare is dual zone and the toms are single zone pads. But we'll get into those when we get there. So this is the snare pad. And we have actually another pad in here. Oh, my bad. This is actually a tom pad. Let's reverse that. So there actually was 2 different drums in here, even though it said snare. This is actually the snare. Pretty much the same thing. I'm not sure. The only difference obviously being the dual zone versus single zone. For anybody out there who's interested in getting the Alesis Nitro, I'm actually gonna be giving this exact drum set away. So be sure to go down to the video description and you can enter there. All the toms that are on the Nitro are 8-inch pads, single zone, like I said. So these are probably gonna be the other 2 tom pads. We've got one here, and we've got one here. Same design, I didn't mention this, but the rubber rim feels really nice. Overall, it's pretty solid for what you spend at this budget. The stuff that Alesis is making is pretty quality for the price. And we get a kick pedal included, so that's one of the benefits, is you don't have to buy your own kick pedal or hardware. They will usually include everything you need to get playing, including sticks. Here we've got the kick pedal. It's gonna take a little bit of assembly. Now these are fairly straightforward. All you're gonna do is you're gonna take this bottom piece here, it kind of swivels down, and you're gonna kind of squeeze it here, right? You can squeeze that, and we're gonna fit it into these little holes that are on the outside of the pedal like that. So those fit in there, and then you got your kick pedal, and it's almost ready to go. So all you're gonna do is take your beater, put it in the hole here. Now you'll notice there's a spot here where you can put your key on and start tightening. Clamp down good on that, and then spin it a little bit, make sure it's straight, and boom, we've got ourselves a kick pedal. All set to go. Seems relatively okay. I'd say it's maybe on the level of some of the entry-level Yamaha beaters. Here's the other pedal. This is probably gonna be the hi-hat. Fairly standard pedal, feels good. Probably will feel good under my feet too, we'll see. Let's get to the cymbal pads. Again, like I said, I will be giving away this drum set. Here we go, cymbal pad number 1. These are 10-inch cymbals, and they do have a choke feature, so you can choke the cymbals, which is great. Any new drummers out there, choking the cymbal is where you stop the cymbal right after you hit it. So it's kind of like an accent. So here we go, another 10-inch pad, and we've got ourselves another 10-inch pad. So this one's got choke. These are just single, so only one of these has the choke feature. Let's see what we get in the accessories box. Probably gonna be cables, it's gonna be drum keys, it's gonna be sticks. Here's sticks. Oh, here we go. We've got some generic 5A wood tip drumsticks, looks good. Basically like your metal rods that hold the drums that'll go onto the rack. If you guys are enjoying the video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you want more drum videos like this. There we go, so we got 4 of these little rods here. Bunch of cables to connect it to the module. Instruction manual, looks like it's how to put it together. It looks like they do give you a drum key, so make sure you go in here if you don't have one. Open the accessories box first. And I'm assuming a power supply. Yes. And finally, we have the drum stand. Oh. Bunch of rods, bunch of poles, just all the hardware stuff. Hardware feels nice, feels like it's some kind of an aluminum maybe. It feels very lightweight, which I like. You know, if you're gonna be setting this drum set up a lot, putting it away, it's kind of easy to move it around if it's lighter. The cymbal stands that go into the rack, they almost have like a powder coated finish. It's really nice. And there's more. Now we got our main posts for the drum rack. Yeah, so these are gonna sit like that. Stuff is super high quality for the money, I swear. All right, so that's everything out of the box. I've got to start putting this all together and clean up the area. Normally with these drum racks, they'll have a drum key bolt that you're supposed to use, but this has an Allen bolt. They probably have that included in here. Kind of annoying, but not a deal breaker. So this one I know is for the snare because it's got 3. So this will be my left side. Unfortunately, they don't ship with these in the correct spot, so you will have to adjust this. This drum set is actually like tiny. This rack as it comes together, it's really small. Oh, you guys hear that? That's weird. That's bizarre. You really have to crank down on these hard, like otherwise they won't hold. It's definitely cheap. Like, it's not gonna be the best hardware you've ever used in your life. But as I keep alluding to, for somebody who's playing drums for the first time, it's gonna be perfect. This does take a bit of adjusting, so be aware of that to get it in the right spot. And now let's start getting our toms on. If yours looks radically different than mine does here, don't worry, we're gonna make adjustments. Some of these wing nuts, they almost hit each other, so you have to really watch that. And it can be kind of annoying to clamp down and tighten them if they're hitting. Kind of a flaw on this kit, at least on this part. The only issue though is now by spinning that around, I've got the floor tom actually closer than I really want it. Yeah, and you're still getting close on those wing nuts. I don't really like that. So far, it's insanely compact, this drum set. I can't believe how close together everything is. And that just might be the way it is. This is the choke, so I'm gonna put it on the crash cymbal stand here. And as I set this up, a lot of this stuff still feels kind of flimsy. So I'm gonna tighten down on this and just make sure that we got everything all good. We don't want things to be moving around. This one doesn't have a felt washer. Not sure why. Maybe it fell off somewhere. I'm not quite certain yet what stops these cymbals from spinning, because the play zone is only on the one side. So if this thing spins around and you're hitting here, it ain't gonna work. Maybe if we just crank down on them, but I don't know yet. And it's time for some cables. We're getting close to getting this thing set up. Right, let's power it on. So right now it feels super low to the ground, to where I almost have to take my throne. We're gonna have to bring it down. Yeah, that's a little bit better. It feels pretty good though. Turns on really fast, like wow. The hi-hat pedal feels a little wonky. It feels like it almost wants to slip and fall over. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but it's not the worst. Well, this is basically the kit, what it looks like when it's all set up. I'm gonna pipe the sounds into my recorder and we'll be able to hear what this thing sounds like.
Future Nick here. Before we get into the sounds, I just want to say I'm going to demo the sounds of the Alesis Nitro drum module, and then I'm also going to showcase a drum software called TuneTrack Easy Drummer 3. It's a brand new software that just came out. It sounds awesome. If you want to use it with your Nitro, you just need a computer and a USB cable. Alright, let's get into the sounds. back again. As you guys heard, Easy Drummer 3 sounds incredible, and when you pair it with the Nitro, it's perfect. So if you want to use Easy Drummer 3, all you'll need is a copy of the software. I believe it's $179, and then you'll also need a laptop or a computer, whichever you like, and a USB cable. But it's so easy to set up, and the software is literally made for eDrums, so it's a perfect solution if you want to improve the sound quality of the Alesis Nitro. Okay, back to the video.
That's kind of what the kit is out of the box. I just kind of went through some of the presets. So far, I'm pleased. I think the hi-hat has some issues. The pedal is a little strange. Module's not the greatest. The sounds are pretty terrible, but for somebody who's just learning the drums for the first time, this is absolutely perfect, especially for a young kid. The Alesis Nitro is by far the best electronic drum set for kids and even just beginners. But if you are larger, I'm only 5'7", so me sitting at this kit and saying it's small, if you're over 6 feet, you're gonna have some issues with this for sure. So what do you think? Is the Alesis Nitro Mesh worth your money? If you're just starting on your drumming journey or you're looking for an affordable entry-level kit, then absolutely. The mesh heads give a realistic feel to your playing, and the built-in sounds will keep you entertained and practicing for hours on end. Leave me a comment down below and be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I'll see you all in the next one.